Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about my Antarctica cruise that I took out of Buenos Aires. It was with Celebrity Eclipse. It was just a really lovely cruise. I wish that it could have been longer because the 2 weeks went by so quickly. The ship was beautiful. It had grass on the top deck. So this was really fun because you could chill, sit on the grass, eat, have a picnic. Um, Chill on the grass and watch the views while in Antarctica. And I was surprised that there was actually a younger crowd. I thought that with the itinerary it would be an older crowd, but there was quite a few people that were my age or younger. So I made friends with so many people from all over the world, and a lot of them were also traveling solo. So I wasn't the only one. And surprisingly, there was a lot of locals. So there was a lot of people from Argentina and other parts of um, South America. And then the cruise director was so much fun. His name was
Manuel.
from Mexico. He was like a comedian, really good at his job. I got to meet his wife as well, and they actually met while working on the ships. And then the entertainment was so amazing. They had comedians and singers and dancers, and then they had the production cast that stays with the contract of the ship, and the the main band that stays with the ship. I guess also part of the production cast, and then they also had another band. They were Argentinian, and they had live shows almost every night, and so there was live music everywhere. There was also a nightclub on the very top deck. And because there was a younger crowd, the nightclub was full every evening up until 2 a.m. when it closed. They had two silent disco parties. You wear headphones, three different channels to choose from: a Spanish channel, a pop channel, maybe a rock channel, and you can change up the channels to decide which song you want to listen to and dance to. So that was also really fun. It's even super entertaining to watch if you're not going to dance. You just sit there and you watch everybody because everybody's dancing to different music and singing along to different music. So it's really lots of laughs to just watch everyone. They had tango shows. One night they had a all white party on the deck. So that was really fun. And the Argentinian band was really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed them. And the DJ at the nightclub was also fun. You could request music that you like and he would play it. The staff were outstanding. I actually ended up meeting staff that I had met on a previous cruise. So I guess they all get rotated onto the different ships. But I also went to the casino one night. Um, I spent a lot of time in the sauna and the jacuzzi. Um, I also went to the gym. There's also a walking track. And then the ports that they went to were really interesting. They sailed around Chile um, for a few hours and then spent 3 nights sailing around Antarctica. And then it also stopped in the Falkland Islands, Puerto Madryn, Ushuaia, and Uruguay. Um, yeah, the views in Antarctica were spectacular. Pictures and words can't describe how beautiful it was. It was so peaceful and serene and absolutely stunning. Um, I was also happy that I was able to bring my my big camera, so I could get really good videos and zoom in. Luckily, when you go on the ship, there's no restrictions, so I was able to pack two big suitcases. Um, so I packed everything that I thought I could possibly need. I also brought along my father's binoculars, so this came in handy. And I packed an array of clothing because many layers to wear in Antarctica and windbreakers to protect you from the cold and the wind. But then also other clothing because it was summertime. So in the other ports, it was very hot. And in Ushuaia and the Falkland Islands, it was cold, but not as cold as Antarctica. So make sure to bring enough clothing so you can be comfortable and warm. Because surprisingly, it was even quite cold on the ship while we were in Antarctica. I booked an inside cabin, so I also guess that's why my cruise was so cheap. And I thought I didn't. I thought I would get a bit claustrophobic, but the inside cabin was really nice. It was big and quite peaceful, actually, um, and nice and dark. I wouldn't actually mind staying in an inside cabin again. It wasn't that bad, and there was lots of storage, enough storage under the bed for my bags, storage everywhere. They made use of the space well. Oh, if you're from South Africa, definitely bring an adapter plug because the ship has plugs for American and European plugs. And then if you're staying in Argentina, they use a different type of plug, which I needed that I actually had to order online. Um, so just be aware of that. The food was really amazing. There was always food all day, breakfast, lunch, snack, late night buffet. Um, the late night buffet was open till 2 a.m. Um, every night there was a different theme at the buffet. Um, so the food was interesting. Every night it was something different. The food in the main dining room was also really amazing. The menu changed as well. So they have this planner that you can get. It's an app that you can install. So you can see the times of the entertainment and you can also check out the menus. So you can see, okay, what do you want? What do you like? And then from there, decide where you're going to eat for dinner. I alternated between the two. So if I saw something I really liked in the main dining room, I would go have dinner there. And then otherwise, I would always just go to the mostly go to the buffet for dinner because it was just so convenient. I didn't have to worry about seating times and things like that. Because sometimes it can get quite full in the dining room, or there's usually a queue. And then one night, actually on Valentine's Day, they had complimentary lobster and escargot every evening in the main dining room. That's one of my favorites. So I definitely didn't go hungry. Um, and I definitely didn't need the beverage package. It's such an unnecessary cost. Um, I usually bring a flask and a water bottle so I can refill it um, and take it around with me um, while I chill at the pool. They have an inside pool, an indoor pool, and an outdoor pool, and jacuzzis everywhere. I met so many people in the jacuzzi. I ended up meeting this lady, Carol Collins. Um, I watched one of her podcasts a few months before and then just found it so funny that I ended up meeting her on this cruise in the jacuzzi. And I met my lovely friend Julie from Argentina. Ended up, after meeting her, because she's from Córdoba, I ended up changing my itinerary and going to Córdoba before I went home. She also introduced me to yerba mate, which I saw so many of the locals drinking in Buenos Aires, and I wasn't sure what it was. And then she explained the drink to me. It's basically a sharing drink, and it's tea leaves, dry tea leaves, that you put in this special wooden cup. She ended up gifting me a cup before I left. Um, so the wooden cup enhances the flavor of the tea leaves. And you add hot water, and then you drink it out of the straw, and it's meant for sharing. So it's a sharing tea drink. Oh, the ports was really interesting. I never really ended up doing any excursions, even though they were plentiful. I ended up doing my own thing. Um, so I never really spent much money at the ports. I share a video on that, so be sure to check out that video, and be sure to check out my Buenos Aires video. I really enjoyed Buenos Aires. I really enjoyed Argentina. I also have a Córdoba video, so be sure to check out my other videos. And I really can't wait to go back to Argentina one day, because I heard that the different provinces have different things to offer. So I would like to go back. I also found out that you can travel anywhere with a long distance bus. It was in the month of February. It was a 14-night cruise, and I actually started looking at prices months in advance, and I managed to find a really good deal. Sometimes ships, if you book directly on their website, they have specials, especially for the holidays. And I managed to find a really good deal. I booked around Christmas because they were having a Christmas sale. The price came down by 70%. It only cost me for the 14 nights, me traveling solo, which means I have to pay a double occupancy. It only cost me under $2,000. And I booked it immediately. Luckily for me, I don't need a visa to go to Argentina. On my South African passport, I can go to Argentina for 90 days. So it was really easy for me, because then I just had to book a return flight out of Cape Town. And I managed to find a flight with South African Airways, and they flew direct, with Sao Paulo being the layover. And then from Sao Paulo into Buenos Aires, I flew into Jorge Newby Airport, the domestic airport, because there's two airports in Buenos Aires. I didn't take out a Wi-Fi package because I didn't need this. I usually have downloads, and I usually get Wi-Fi at the ports. And then I didn't take out a drinks package because there's complimentary drinks that's included, and I don't really drink alcohol, especially when I'm traveling alone. And so the cabin, the food, the entertainment is included in the price. It is possible to go to Antarctica on a budget. You don't. I used to think that you needed to take an expedition vessel in order to go there, and that usually costs around $10,000 to $12,000 per person. But this isn't the case, because cruises do go that route. So other than Celebrity, I know that Norwegian and Princess and Holland America, they also cruise to Antarctica from Buenos Aires. I ended up staying in Buenos Aires for 10 nights before the cruise, because I wanted to acclimate to the time zone, and I also wanted to explore the city. And it happens to be one of my favorite cities in the whole world. So I do recommend that you go to Buenos Aires and that you watch my Buenos Aires videos. And then I'm really glad that I did this, because by the time I had to take the cruise, I was well rested. It is possible to go to Antarctica for cheap. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention. Being in Antarctica, it was so beautiful that it actually inspired me to start a YouTube channel, so I could share all my travel experiences. So I'm really glad for that, because so far I'm having a lot of fun editing, putting videos together, and starting up this channel. So I hope that this information helps you, and I hope that you enjoy all my other videos, and comment if you've ever been to Antarctica or if you would really love to go, if it's on your bucket list. And please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my other videos. Thank you for watching.